I don't know what here, but 1,000 years, 500 years in some sense comfortable with the ideas that are maybe presented in the Bible, but as soon as people have the opportunity to research more and read more and get involved in bigger issues that involves even the universe and the study of the stars or whatever, that then automatically new ideas begins to enter the mind, and then you will be able to question the most previous basic stuff, like for instance the Bible, I think.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I speak to so many different types of people. I mentioned my excursions into different religions. It's like instead of reading about things, I like to kind of experience them firsthand.
Yeah.
And I've been out west. I've spoken to white nationalists. I've spoken to all different types of people. I've certainly, hung out with black people. I see. I've hung out with fundamentalist Christians, and I've spoken to Orthodox Jews.
Yeah.
And I see where sometimes it's like we all live in our own little universes, and sometimes it's like there's no communication.
Yeah.
When people they're really so armored and so entrenched in their belief systems, and then the communication just dies. I remember speaking to a pastor once long ago, and I was just posing some questions, and he said, "You question too much."
Okay. What are you going to do?
I don't know, because I wrote an essay called Question Everything.
Yeah.
Now people get they get thrown in prison for questioning.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, what's gonna change this then? Because I mean, we could basically spin out here on the on the arm of the Milky Way forever, and get more and more deeply rooted in our own worldview, and eventually we might end up in a situation where we we have different species on the earth almost. I mean, something's gotta give here. Something's gotta happen to shatter.
That's what a lot of people seem to be moving towards, in this kind of almost like a tribalism, where they want to hang out with people who are the same as they are, or whatever. But I think that that's also an illusion. I think that once you're hanging out in a room full of people that you think are the same as you're going to find that there's always differences. And that you can't, because we all have our own points of view, and we're all unique expressions, and there's nothing, to me, more interesting than sharing your unique expression with somebody else's.
Yeah.
And doesn't mean that you all become one. We'll all just become Hare Krishnas, or fade into this gray mass, but that that we are interconnected, that on certain levels there is a very, very slight difference when they've, looked at the genes, the genome.
Yeah.
There's a very slight difference among different types of people, and that it sounds so trite about learning to live with people. Maybe that's why I really try not to get into fights with people, even if they're cruel and angry and hateful, or even my friend today, just being so closed-minded. And there was a part of me that just said, "Oh well, chalk off another one." That just really wanted to do that. And yet I said, I love this woman. She's been a dear friend of mine. We've helped each other out in the past. I don't want to do that. I don't want to just storm off into my little armored camp with like-minded people necessarily. That's my comfort zone, but I just want to stay around in the world for a while and see what will happen, see what will change.
Yeah.
Now, there are a lot of people that believe that the whole thing will change if there's a change in consciousness. And once there's a certain, what they call critical mass, then things are going to start changing.
Yeah.
And I guess that's the hope. Maybe that's my hope, that this may not happen in my lifetime, but that this could possibly happen. there are very few signs pointing to it.
Mm.
Who knows? I don't know. At the end of the day, this whole journey called life may just be a school. I mean, we may be just having a physical experience. We just may be spiritual beings having a physical experience and learning from it. And maybe it's not meant to be a heaven on earth or some kind of a utopia.
Who knows? I mean,
I mean, it's all speculation.
Yeah, and I mean, could there be? I mean, could there be people then who have took it upon themselves to be, the administrators of the experience, and now are people like Pike that we mentioned earlier that basically have theorized that we need 3 world wars, for instance, to go through, because I know that the conclusion that he mentions in the letter to Mazzini was that it was through that principle that people would know how it was to live life, without knowing God. I mean, and then his interpretation of what God is and all that. I mean, it's nothing that I agree on, but I know there he is, and he works now, as an administrator of the experience, so to speak. What's your take on that? I mean.
Yeah. Well, you don't know. We don't know if people are playing roles. You don't know if Judas played a role with Jesus. You don't know.
Yeah.
There's so little that we know, and or maybe we will know more. Maybe how they say we only use 5% of our brain or whatever, and that we have these strands of DNA that aren't activated.
Yeah.
And maybe at a point they will become activated, and maybe we will start to understand, and we will start to realize that it's not a competitive world, it's a cooperative world.
Yeah.
And there will be, who was it that said that what was it, that man is the missing link between the ape and the human being?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, maybe we just haven't become human yet. And
no, I mean, it is an evolving process, and maybe, maybe there are different, stages that human evolution, goes through, and now maybe we are at a point where we are evolving our consciousness and our awareness on a expanding it to a new level, and this is what causing this, dichotomy in our kind of collective unconscious mind here, because it seems like there is panic in some sense, but I am at the same time encouraged to think that it's going to work out in the end.
Well, that's good, and if you can hold on to that, if you can hold on to that optimism,
yeah,
that we're just going right now through the trial of fire,
yeah,
and or the dark night of the soul, whatever,
yeah,
but we're going to come out better for having had this experience.
Yeah,
that's a great way to think.
Yeah, I think we have.
I have to hang on to some of the darker moments.
Exactly.
And also, listening to news. I try not to listen to too much news, but every now and then, when I'm listening to the internet, the news slips in.
Yeah, exactly.
and it's tough, I think sometimes we really have to be careful about what we put in our bodies, but we have to be really careful of what we put in our minds.
Yeah.
Too.
Exactly, absolutely. And Judy, we have about 30 seconds or so left here of the show. But is there anything that you'd like to leave us with? This has been a great conversation, by the way. So thank you very much for being here.
I've really enjoyed talking to you. Should I leave you with my website?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Sure.
Shameless plug. www.judyandreas. That's ANDREAS.com. And I invite everybody to come and, see what I'm doing, see
Excellent.
who I am, and I really enjoyed this with you.
Absolutely. Keep up the good work, and we will talk further down the road, okay?
I hope so.
I hope so, too. Thank you very much, Judy.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye. You have been listening to Red Ice Radio. Thank you very much for tuning in, and next week we will continue with program 5 in the series with Michael Tsarion. So tune in next Sunday at 2 p.m. Pacific or 10 p.m. Greenwich time. Talk to you then. Bye-bye.
Like